Good evening, everyone. This is Financial Literacy 101. And this evening, I would like to go over the history of money from a Keith Wall perspective. We've had this conversation, I believe it was, a couple of months ago, Keith, when we were talking about this particular subject?
Yes, that's correct.
Now, from your teachings and, your educational background, I would like to know, how was money first established?
That's a tough one, but how was money established? Money was established by a group of people coming together and basically putting a value on something, whether it be metals, whether it be paper notes, whether it be a trade and barter type of system.
Now, how did that evolve over time, though?
How did it evolve? It evolved from, for example, a bunch of different banks coming together, state by state or republic by republic, and then conversing or becoming one national, one international agreed upon set of currency, whatever it may be, paper, metal, whatever you want to substitute it with.
Now, I guess I want to know, as far as when I talk about the history of money and how was it created and how was it developed, where did that system, in what country, what continent, what era did it first start?
I'd have to do some more research, but let's just use like the contemporary times, i.e. like 1700s. There were different money systems that were in circulation. And the basic principle was this: if you had a estate, and then in that estate, you had enough gold, silver, etc., you would then create a paper note to establish that this particular note represents this establishment of precious metals, for example. And then it was agreed upon by the people. So if you were traveling from Kentucky territory down to Louisiana, there was no central bank that would take that particular note and then convert it into another note that would be used in that particular jurisdiction, territory, etc. It was just agreed upon that the Kentucky note was spendable, or that it was valued in the whatever territory you were in, backed by usually gold.
Do you believe that the system of money worldwide, internationally, is a joke?
I don't believe in anything. What I do know is that the debt currency, the debt forms, the system as we speak right now is starting to reveal the the problems with the fractal reserve system, et cetera, or devaluation of certain countries' money based on the lack of the gold or the established system, or the backing of that gold or whatever it is, and it's being exposed for what it really is. Basically, it's a system of fiat, meaning that you do not pay off anything in the system. You just discharge a debt. And the difference between the two is that one agency can just print more money, right? They could just, hey, we in a $2 trillion deficit. Let's just print $2 trillion more. And basically what has been working is that people agree that I had a $2 trillion debt, and now it's been discharged with 2 trillion new freshly printed dollars. But that system is starting to fade away. And what you'll find is that nations are going back to the system of something for something. That whole system of fiat is being exposed for what it really is.
You know what's funny about what you say is that Me and my lady was talking yesterday, and I was explaining how phenomenal money is. That it is a belief system of people all together agreeing about, because I had an issue, right? I was about to buy another house as an investment property, and I didn't want to drive 12 miles to Capital One Bank, which is one of my banks. Somebody said, "Hey man, you can use a money order." So I went to the 7-Eleven to get a couple of money orders, right? So the contract fell through. I didn't get the home. Big deal. No big deal. That's my second or third home that people with all these fraudulent things going on with these homes. Nonetheless, I'm like, okay, well, how do I get my money back from this money order, even though that the money order is money, but I can't use it as easily as I want. Now, thank goodness I didn't, sign it or nothing like that, or sign it over to anybody, because if you sign it over to somebody, even though you're in the possession of the money order, you still have to send it into Western Union. This is phenomenal. And it just hit me. It hit me, like something this knocked you on the head. That's what it did. I just came to this realization. I said, this is stupid. I said, money is stupid, because think about this. That money order is made out of what? Paper. When I gave my money to 7-Eleven to get that paper, I gave them what? Paper. So there's no value in paper. It really isn't. Now, some people may argue the value in paper is what's printed on the paper. And that's why so many people do fraudulent things with money, right? Because it's so easy, because the only thing you need is the damn printer. Right? So paper, in a sense, is useless. It's almost like when people say, back in the day it was better. Yes, it was better, because people was using gold and silver pieces, which was tangibles. The only thing you had to make sure that it was gold, and people used to, buy it, but now we have more sophisticated ways of making sure that gold is real. But it really made me think, because I said, usually I'll get a cashier's check. What am I talking about? Now I'm talking about a cashier's check, came from my bank account, money I've never seen, whatever money may be, then money from my digital account, because they don't show me the real money. They'll say, hey, here's your money with a video camera in the bank. No, you see digitized number in your bank account. Then you print out a piece of paper and saying that this piece of paper is worth the amount that you told us. This is crazy.
Yeah.
And see, I don't really talk about this in everyday on my channel, because I know I will lose a lot of people. But the history and the system of money, in a sense, is a belief system that everybody is going to agree that this piece of paper actually is worth something.
Yep.
That's crazy to me.
Yep. And
we go around the world exchanging these worthless pieces of paper. But if I see a rapper or somebody on there like, oh man, he got a lot of money. Yes, because we all believe he has a lot of money. We all have agreed, does he have a lot of money? It's crazy.
Yeah, I just want to add to what you're saying, that the definition, according to the dictionary, I'm not going to read the whole dictionary, but it's a general indefinite term for the measure or the representation of a value, right? But the key in the definition is that money, it represents the common consent of valuation. So in other words, if we all agree that $1 is worth $10,000, right? Or we all agree that $1 is only worth one fraction of 1 penny. You get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So money is relative to what we all consent on. It's more like a, I don't want to use the term a spell, but it's like if we consent to chalk equaling what gold used to equal, then that's what it becomes. It's more about us believing in it than it is what it actually is. And the actual term money comes from the word moon ecology, like the it's basically, it has a natural the earth being a natural womb of sort that creates different metals that can be used for certain scientific communication type of devices or whatever it is, you know what I'm saying? And the reason that gold is one of the higher standards on most markets is because gold is an electrical conductor that doesn't lose or has basically zero resistance. And when you think about that, what were they doing back then? What were they building? Like, what type of machines were they making where they had to know that there's a machine that I need, that gold, i.e. the computer, has to have zero resistance. So the power that I put in, it has to come out on the other side. That's another topic for, another day.
Yeah, and that's a good point you make, because there's gold in computers.
That's what in most electronics. So why?
In most electronics, there's gold.
So when we talk about the 1700s,
hold up, guys, whoever's watching, please don't break inside your computer trying to find the gold. Where's the goddamn gold at?
Yeah.
Like my mic is gold.
Yeah. But yeah, it kind of makes you think. So, fiat, that's a term that people have to understand. There is no purchasing of anything or paying off. It's all a discharge of debt. Discharge, that's a electrical term, right? Gold in the computer, an electrical device.
Give me 1 second. I'm having some problems here.
Difficulty.
Making sure everyone can hear me just fine. Give me a second. I picked up my mic. Can you hear me?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, you can hear me. Okay. You can hear me. Hello?
Yep, still here.
All right, I had to change my speakers, unfortunately. But here's another thing that I thought about too. Let's define money according to what we call the internet. Okay. Let's define money. Let me go over here, and I want to show the people this. This is what they say money is. Right here it says a current medium of exchange in the form of coins and banknotes. Coins and banknotes collectively. Then over here it says money is any item of verifiable record that is generally accepted as payment for goods and services and repayment of debt such as taxes and particular country or social economic context. Now that goes hand in hand with what you were saying about how money is basically an agreement. Now they're using verifiable record, but that's all this agreement that people made a while ago. And then it says generally accepted. It has to be accepted. So we accept, or rather we are forced to accept the construct of money. And here's another thing.
Go ahead.
Why did it change from gold?
I'm not gonna I'm only speculating, right? I would be speculating, but one thing to add to that definition is that it says it's a record, right?
Yes.
When you study contracts, right?
Yes.
Usually a contract is something for something. So a service or there's an exchange of something that's tangible. What that just said was that it's a record of something. Do you follow me on that? So when you have a contract, the most basic contract, if I come to your house and clean your windows, right? That's the energy I'm putting out. Now, how are you going to compensate me? Yeah, I can hear you in the background, by the way. It's like a reverb.
Oh, you can hear echo?
Yeah.
Let me make sure. Go ahead.
Yeah, so all I was just saying is something for something, but in that definition from Google, it just said a record of something for something. But in actuality, in contract law, it is actually, the money is a actual energy that we both agree on, and it's transferable. So it's something for something, as opposed to a record of something. You get what I'm saying?
So why do you ever think that the system of money now internationally, okay, worldwide, why do you believe that the standard of money transferred from gold as being the exchangeable item for goods and services rather than into paper, essentially into paper money rather than gold? I mean, we can go into transportation, that money is easier to carry, but we still have coins. But why did we change that?
I think it is because so when you understand the fractal reserve, right? It's like when the magician takes the rabbit out of the hat, right? You don't get to see that whole mechanism of magic, right?
Yeah.
Now think about this. Remember, let's just make it simple. Let's just make it simple. I'm a magician. I'm telling you, I got 2 billion pounds of gold in my bank. You're never going to see it. But this car loan that you want, I don't have to show you the money. You just sign a piece of paper and then you say, hey, I'm going to satisfy the debt, right? But then I start making money or fractally making money off of your monthly payments for 60 months. But I never produced anything tangible. That's probably the best magic trick on the planet. You know what I'm saying? It
sounds like a con. That's what it sounds like.
It really does. When you buy your house, the bank says sign this promissory note. But wait a minute. If I get a loan from the bank is actually going to transfer the fiat or the electronic amount of what we're discussed or what we agreed upon, and then I could take that $100 and then start a business, and then pay it back with the interest off of that $100, right?
Yes.
But in the real estate game, all they give you is a
sleight of hand.
Yeah, I promise that you're gonna pay it back. How you gonna promise that I'm gonna pay it back? Shouldn't I just you know what I'm saying? Why can't I just make up the promissory note and keep you out of the loop? Because ultimately, I'm going to be paying the mortgage month to month anyway. But that's the game right there. That's the magic. So that, to answer your question, that's why they took it off of the gold standard, because they don't have to bring the Brinks truck to your house, drop the gold off, and then you take that gold and then go pay your mortgage company.
So basically, we're dealing in a system in finances that's fraudulent.
Let's not use that word. That word, we don't call the magician fraudulent. We call it magic. Let's use the word magic. It's magic.
So the financial markets are magic.
It's magic. For example, the country hasn't worked in the last 6 months. However, the markets are still showing that everything is okay. That is magic. It's not, it's not fraud. We don't want to use those terms. It's magic.
When I think about when people should get put out in the hood and they not, that's magic too. And you know what? It's funny you should say that, right? Look at this right here. Look at this right here. When you talk about magic, I'm looking at the stock market go up and down. I'm still making money.
But what is money? It's what you agreed upon.
What you agreed upon.
But I guarantee if you try to take those stocks and turn it into something substantial, something real, Mr. Ross, you know what? Call us back. There will be some type of loops that you have to go through. Why? Because it really is magic. It really is magic. But once you see it that way, and just as an example, go try to cash in some of those stocks, just 1 or 2 of them, and you'll be like, hold up, you saying what? You get what I'm saying? So,
I mean, when we break down, because, I teach investing, right?
Yeah.
And for people who are just joining us, this is my brother, Keith, very intelligent young man. I want to get his perspective on the history of money and money in general. So we're going to switch the conversation to investing, right? And about owning stock, right? Because I teach people, and the unfortunate part about this, I know the deep, dark history, but I'm trying to better people's lives, so I don't go this deep. But for this particular night, I want to go a little deeper than I usually. So I tell people, you know, when you buy a stock, you own a piece of that company. And then when that company does well, your stock appreciates in value, and then you can cash out on that particular stock and actually, you know, deposit that money to your bank account. The truth about stocks is, when do you ever see your stock?
You going back to the house, you get a piece of paper promising that you own this particular stock.
The question is, we can explain what a stock is, but anytime you ask somebody, say, hey, show me a stock. Nobody can show you a stock. No one can ever show you a stock. A stock back in the day, before computers really hit the market in the 80s, a stock was what? A piece of paper. No one is giving you a brick and mortar from their business or organization and say, hey, here is a stock of our company. There's nothing tangible. Here's a computer for our company. That's considered a stock. It has a serial number on it. So how are we investing inside of companies and making money in invisible stocks? How are we doing that? That's my question to you. How?
I'm not trying to be funny, but it's magic. You know, it's belief. It goes back to money.
I know you're not trying to be funny, but it's funny because
it's magic. You have to have the key ingredient to the whole market, just like the key ingredient into most religions: faith, belief, knowing, the gut feeling. But in reality, what if the market's done?
Wait a minute. So are you telling me that in finances, in the financial markets, that it's like religion? I need to have belief and faith.
Because the devil that they create, and also the wealth that they say that they have, I'm not saying this, it may or may not exist, but either way, they haven't shown and proved to us how much gold they have, how much real, and I hate to bring up Enron, but what is the company actually doing? Oh, just tell the people that it's doing well and that they're going to have their quarterly dividend, and nobody goes any further than that. It's a belief system, you know. But anyway, it's one and the same though. It's one and the same, you know. So,
but even in the system that we know essentially is not fraud but magic, we are all involved in this particular game. But I get, you know, my viewers, my subscribers, people who listen to me, how do we win? How do we gain? Should that stop us from investing? Should that stop us from saving and getting out of debt and raising your credit score?
That is, you know what? That is one of the, like put it like this, bro. The magic of the global markets is the fact that they're global, and you can't go down the street to your local stockholder or your local insurance provider or your local, etc. If you were to do that, then you would, like how we're face to face having a conversation, you could actually hold them accountable, and you can actually better, you know, have a better hands-on relationship as far as what your goals are financially, et cetera, et cetera. But when it's in a global sense, it's like, you know, it's fictitious. It may or may not be there. It's hard to get a hold of certain corporate, you know, individuals. And I think they do that on purpose. You know what I mean? I think that's part of the system. So going back to what I was saying, the fact that it's a global, it's separated, like all over the place, you have to have faith. That's basically what they're communicating. We don't want you to be able to come to where we are and hold us accountable. And you could do this with religions, you could do this with finances, you could do this with a lot of the crap that they put on the television. You get what I'm saying? It's all the
Wait a
same.
minute, say that again slowly.
The television, right?
The tell live vision.
Yeah. I'm just being silly, but Yeah.
No. You said something there. Don't just get past that, brother.
Yeah.
You said the tail lie vision.
Yeah.
Tail lies so you can see it.
Yeah.
On a vision.
Yeah.
Is that what you said?
Yeah, because we know that what you put into your eyes, that's what goes directly into your mind and starts the seeding process, or you start creating from what you see, and then it gets into here, and then you start to live that. That's why, you know, back in the day, BET had the uncut with the video, you know, with the X-rated videos, and then you found yourself in the club putting out dollar bills, you know, like, wow, where did that come from? Oh, I need to stop watching BET.
Let me ask you this. Now, you said something about the fiat system, which is, I guess, another term for debt system, correct?
Yeah. I'm gonna.
Can you explain? If you tell us what you know about the fiat system.
Give me one. Basically it is a so in the original sense of debt contract and exchanging services for services, there was something like tangible, right? But the fiat system, it basically gives the popes of Rome the ability to just discharge a debt, just get rid of it based on the money system. So in other words, anytime you are in debt, right? We don't have to go into our put it like this. For most Americans, if you owe the cable man $150, you got to go into your savings or wherever you get it from and produce the $150 to pay the debt. But under the fiat system, you just write a piece of paper, debt discharged. Magic. It goes away. That's really the difference.
So it's almost like we shouldn't pay our debts.
No, I didn't say that. I said that you have to be more creative. You got to be more like a magician, where you just take a piece of toilet paper and just write debt discharge. And some creditors are going to take that and be like, okay, I'll accept it, you know. But most of them won't, because you don't have the seal behind you. You get what I'm saying?
Everybody, this is Keith Wall, very intelligent brother. We're talking about the history of money and different constructs of money and how money came to be. And this kind of gives you guys a different taste of some financial knowledge that could be either humorous, informative, or mind-blowing. Hopefully all of you guys are listening. Hopefully all you guys are understanding what we're talking about here. We're talking about debt right now, how the fiat system came about in a sense of debt and how you can actually write off debt. Right.
Okay. So the definition of fiat from the Latin, let it be done. It's kind of like when you go to the confessional, when you say, Father, I have sinned, forgive me. Let it be done. You are forgiven. Right. It's like an ecclesiastical type of magic, wizardry. Right. Just to read it in English practice, a short order or warrant of a judge or magistrate directing some act to be done, an authority issuing from some competent source. So the key in fiat is you have to be a competent source, like a pope or like a bishop or some type of ecclesiastical lawyer or congressman, right? And you just let it be done. But unfortunately, most of us don't have that power because we're not deemed competent by most of the hierarchy. You get what I'm saying?
Yeah. Now, again, this is your perspective about what I'm about to ask you. No. I'm about to ask you a question. This is your perspective.
I'm sorry.
Should we pay our debts? And I'll give you some examples. Mortgage, rent, well, not rent, a mortgage, car loan, to say the least.
Okay. First of all, do what you do, right? But when you understand the word mortgage, Latin, dead pledge, you never pay off your mortgage because of the taxes, the fees associated with that property. You follow me on it?
I mean, but there are people who paid off their houses, though.
Yeah, but they still lose their houses because they owe taxes. They're
because of property. property tax.
Yeah, it's a feudal system. We have to figure out how to break away from this feudal system, but it is in place to keep you from never owning anything. It's like
Wow.
yeah, it's literally to keep you chasing the dream of home ownership, but in actuality, show me the person that has paid off their house, and when they get the tax note because their house that used to cost $100,000 is now worth 500,000, and it's basically a new mortgage. They just fiat it away, just write a promissory note, debt discharge, and just give it to, and they accept it. Show me that person. You get what I'm saying? So it's
there's not too many people out there who own their property
no
without the pleasure of paying property tax. Even though that the property has been paid off, they still have to pay property tax.
Yeah, it's kind of like when you pay your tithes and offerings for the month at your church, and then they say, did you pay the building fund? And then you throw your hands up in there, you're like, damn, I just gave you everything I had. Like, really? You said 10%, I gave that, and now the building fund is double of what, the tithes.
When we switched, like switching this conversation somewhat to religion and money, it's like when I used to go to church, I used to say, I have to pay my tithes and offerings. I have to pay my tithes. And then the pastor was like, brother, you shouldn't say you have to pay your tithes. You should say, you're going to give your tithes. And so what I said, does it matter? I still feel like I got to pay it. I feel obligated, right? And when it comes to obligation in church, I know a lot of people feel really, funny about these conversations because they don't want to get involved, but you give your tithes and offerings, right? And everybody had their own different reasons. But I felt heavy because I was essentially giving money or paying money that I knew that was meant for my rent. I knew that was meant for groceries, right? But the church, give and God will bless you and you will have riches and you will have this and you will have that. And I remember a time in a previous marriage of mine, we was going to church and literally, right? I think I had $100, and usually I will give my tithes and offerings, pay my tithes and offerings. So this time, the tray came towards me. I passed that tray on to the next person. I'm like, I got to feed my family. Don't you know that my ex went inside the pastor's office and tell the pastor that I didn't give tithes and offerings? First and foremost, I never believed that you should allow that man inside of your house. When you do that, you allow them inside of your house. That's why and this is my opinion, that's why you see a lot of things going on, but nonetheless, I digress on that one. But it all boils down to what you were saying about the system, about faith.
Yeah. And can I just add real quick? The reason that you don't pay tithes and offers, because it sounds like some type of exchange. And usually when there's an exchange, there's some type of record keeping, and there's usually some type of tax associated with that, right? So it's not for your benefit, it's to keep them off the hook. If you give me something, there's no expectation of something in return. You get it?
Are you now? You used to be a church goer, right?
I was forced back in the early like my grandmother forced me there, and
But you wasn't in a time where you was paying tithes and all that.
Yeah, I gave they say 10%. I tried to keep it at 1% because I was, up and coming artist. I wasn't
up and coming. Yo, you a fool. You said you're up and coming artist, you gave 1%.
Yeah, so I started smoking because I felt bad that I wasn't giving 10%. So then it just went to just smoking,
I can't do it. I can't do it with you, man.
I'm joking.
Let me ask you this. Do you believe that it's important to raise your credit score?
I would honestly say I bought a house 5 years ago. People told me that I had to have credit cards and things like that to raise my credit score. But I basically I pay my utilities on time. I pay my BG&E. That makes you credit worthy. You don't need credit cards. And just by virtue of you having a credit history, I think I went into buying a house with a 740.
Yeah. So
I don't know. I don't know.
when it
Some
comes to
people,
your credit history, that's 35% of your credit score. Now, the new system of how they kind of add up your credit score, they are now using an Experian, Equifax, TransUnion. They're using what they call Vantage 3.0 score, and they're using your utilities, as you were talking about, as your credit worthiness.
yeah.
But there is it is sort of a method of increasing your credit score. And believe it or not, it does involve some revolving accounts, which are mostly credit cards. They're mostly credit cards. So the formula is like 2 credit cards, right?
Yeah.
With those credit cards, not only are they going to increase your income to debt ratio, but it's also going to show your credit history, because the length that you will eventually have on those cards, that also help raise your credit score as well.
Yeah.
So you didn't go that route as far as using credit cards. You use credit history as well as credit worthiness. Talk about credit worthiness a little bit more.
Well, I was just saying I used the rotating monthly utility, i.e. BG&E or electric company, gas, cell phone, those, because those were the 3 bills that I had. I never had a lot of bills. When I left the military, I had 2 credit cards, and the interest and all of that stuff. I said, you know what, I'm done. So I haven't had a credit card in almost 20 plus years, but
20 plus. So you use simply
no
debit cards.
cash money homie. That's what I would say. Like everything, most of the things I do is cash money. You know what I mean?
Okay. Not even a debit card.
I have a debit card, attached to my checking, but there's no credit worthiness based off of, like, for example, I get a bill every month. Everything is cash money for the most part. But I'm looking here real quick, and I just want to. This is funny. I'm just looking up the word give, right? And it literally is a law term, because I'm in the law dictionary, right? It means to bestow.
Well, let's see. Can we see the book you're reading?
Oh, this is the Black's Law. Can you see that?
Yeah, right there. Hold it right there. Black's Law Dictionary, 3rd edition. Okay.
Yeah. So this book right here is what the governments usually, like when you go to traffic court or whatever, this is how they rule over us, right? So going back, and also the pastor, right? So when he's saying give your tithes instead of pay your tithes, you just came into a legal contract, a legal, you know what I mean? And legally, the word means to just give without anything in return, as I was saying earlier. So that's one of the tools of the trade. That is a December 1st comes the 25th, and Jesus didn't come back with the 2 Cadillacs, in the purple robe, and you like, wait a minute, I gave all my tithes and all. Hey man, you owe me something. No, I don't, sir. Legally, you get what I'm saying? They could stretch it out.
I get you. They're not obligated in any way because you gave. You didn't pay, because when you pay for something, you should be receiving something.
Exactly. So it's a legal term that takes the burden of to have to show something off of them, basically. So that's interesting. That's very interesting.
That's very interesting, because I had a situation where I'm not going to tell it live, but I'll say that I had a large bill. We had this conversation off camera, that I just decided that I'm gonna call in and say that it's not mine and not pay it, and they wiped it from my credit report. Plausible deniability, call it. I literally called a financial institution about an account that was mine. I called in and I just pleaded no contest. It's not mine. I don't know where this came from. And in 2 months, they took it off my credit report. I could not believe it. And
Why
so
not, though?
it's
Why
crazy
can't you
because
brother?
a lot of people in
can't you?
America, right, have the same name. I'm pretty sure there's another Keith Wall out there. I'm pretty sure there's another Raymond Ross. Now, with people with those weird ass names like Shakanda, Wakanda, Gerald.
Hold on. What about A17963 alphabet? Those new password names like Elon Musk.
Yeah. Yeah. My whole thing is those people can't possibly do what I did. Like, there's a bunch of Raymond Rosses. Like, you type in Raymond Ross. I mean, matter of fact, unfortunately, a lot of these dudes are criminals, it look like. Got that criminal name. So I look up Raymond Ross and I type in images, right? I don't know why all these people look like they're just criminals for some reason. Look at this real quick. Look at this. Look at all these people named Raymond Ross. They look like he got locked, fugitive capture. Look at this dude on internet. Look at all these dudes. Then you come down here. I don't know about this. This is a AKA T Money. I don't know.
Yeah.
This is another guy. He's a real estate agent.
Yeah.
There's a guy up in here. So basically what I'm trying to say is if you have a common name, this is a strategy. And it's not listen, if you a lot of people have morals, a lot of people have ethics. I got it. Don't do this if you have a conscience. This one, I was younger and I didn't really care. I didn't care at all. But I called into the financial institution. I say, hey, that loan, that's not mine. They said, your name is Raymond Ross. I was like, well, yeah, but that's not mine. I don't know where you got that from. Do you have my signature? Now, here's the kicker to this. They can have my signature, but how do they know that's my signature?
But dog.
Here's another thing. A lot of people will never use this method because it's so simple. We think everything is complicated, right? So since we think everything is complicated, if I say, hey man, just call in and say that it's not yours. Say that your car loan is not yours. Most people won't do it. I got it. But if you are in debt, like I was in debt, Keith, bro, I was in debt. I was robbing Peter to rob Paul. I was robbing both of them. I didn't have two nickels to rub against. So I said, you know what? To free up some money, let me just call in and say it's not mine. I just had a thought. And then they transferred me to one of the top executives. And I say, hey, man, I know that you guys have been hacked and this, that, and the other. It's not mine. It's not mine.
Yo, that is very, very important because what you did in essence is you exercised the concept of fiat. You called them in a competent frame of mind. You wasn't like, yeah, son, you know, I don't know what's going on.
Yeah, big dog, man. Hey, shit, look, hey, man, I just got smoking a joint, bro.
Yeah, you didn't do that. You said, look, there has been reasonable doubt of fraud from your company, right? You were breached. That may or may not be me, but I'm telling you, it's not me. I'm competent, and I know that wasn't me. And all they do is discharge the debt. And then what they do is they take that bond and they write it off as a loss. And then they still get paid for it anyway.
They still get paid for it anyway. And you know what? It's hard for me to teach a lot of my subscribers this concept because it's immoral, essentially. Because if you know that you have obtained a debt, you knew you went out and you applied for this personal loan, this business loan, this mortgage, this car loan. So it feels bad. But I was at the lowest point, I want to say, in my natural life, in my life. And so I said, you know what? Fuck it. I'm gonna do it. I just called in. Look, no one was in the room with me. It just came. I was sitting there. I had a piece of paper, I had a pen, and I was like, how am I gonna pay this bill? How am I gonna pay this bill? How do I get out of this bill? And I just was thinking. So I came to the conclusion. I said, you know what? I'm just gonna call in and say it's not mine. That I was, you know how like a little kid, like, hey, that's yours, right? No, that's not mine. That's not mine. No, that wasn't me. That's exactly what I did. I called in. I said, excuse me, sir. I see this on my credit report. It said that this is in collections. I've never had an account like this before. They say, well, is your name right? I said, yes, that's my name, but there's other people that's name, and I know that you guys have been breached. I know that you guys have been hacked a couple of times, and I'm telling you right now, I'm unfamiliar with this loan. Oh, well, we're gonna have to check this and check that and check this and check that. So I got transferred up to the executive director. He asked me some very basic questions. I just said, no, sir. That is not me. Okay, sir, I'll call you back. I got to do some research. He called me back 2 weeks later, asked me a couple of other questions. All of them were just no. I like, sir, I understand this. I know you're going through your strip. I know you're going through your basic questions, but sir, at the end of the day, this account is not mine. I was so adamant, I was very professional. I was very calm. I wasn't emotional. Like, sir, this is, if you look at my credit report, I have phenomenal credit. I really didn't, but he couldn't look at my credit report.
Yeah, because he would have to.
I said, this is harming me, and this is stemming from your organization, and this is not my account. I don't want to have to take this to the FTC, the Federal Trade Commission. I don't have to take this to any government entity. I know we can handle this right here and right now. He said, okay, sir, I understand. I'm going to give you a call back. 2 weeks later, it was about a month later, I looked at my credit report, account was gone.
Because you had competence.
Account was gone. And this account, just to give somebody some reference, was over $50,000 in debt. Gone. Guy called me back, said, Mr. Ross, I believe that we handled the situation. Thank you for your patience, and we're sorry for your inconvenience. Ta-da!
Yep.
Would I do it again is the question. I will not.
Because you have ethics now.
I do. I had none then.
But now you really know what you're doing, and you know that you could be subject to, I don't want to use the word fraud, but magic.
No, that's exactly what it is. This is not magic. It's fraud.
I know, but I don't.
This ain't magic, bro. This is fraud. This is like it's like that's yours, but you're pleading it ain't mine. Nah, it's yours.
But
it's yours.
Back to the definition of. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
And, every now and again I think about that situation, and it makes me feel a certain way. But what's done is done. It's not like I'm gonna call back and say, "Hey, man, I owe you guys 50 grand." Hell no. Look. I might be a fool, but I ain't stupid. It's the difference.
I got to look that up.
Let me ask you this. What do you think the importance of saving is?
Wow. That's funny you would ask that. I don't think I'm the right person to ask that particular question.
Explain.
Okay, remember at the beginning of the Republic, the interest rates were low and the lines of credit were huge, right? Meaning you could borrow money with very low interest. But then at the end of the Republic, it's inverted. It's hard to borrow money and the interest on it is so high. And right now, I'd have to look it up. What is the interest rate for a basic savings account? Oh,
it's
half of a
zero. Yeah, it's never a half. Yeah, it's 0.10. It's never 1%. Like high yield savings accounts, maybe 1%, but majority of people's bank accounts, Bank of America, US Bank, Wells Fargo, you name it, they're all under 1% by far. Let me see.
Yeah, look it up. But that's kind of an oxymoron,
savings
high yield. Coming in at 1%.
We're gonna go regular at first.
Yeah.
We're gonna go regular at first. Let's look at this very quickly. Now, this is a lot. I should say savings account. It said 7.6%. They lying. That's not it.
You got to read the fine print. You have to have $2 million in the account.
Definitely. Let me look at this real quick. Okay. So we're gonna go where it says about the best bank accounts. Look at this right here. First of all, the bank you usually never heard of. They talking about the APY, and you have to have a minimum balance of 250, but it's 0.61. Okay. Let's look at all of these. It says best overall rate at 0.70, and then popular direct, which nobody heard of, is 0.76. And then from that point, it just declining. Ally Bank 0.60, Biobank point. And these all used to be over 1% because I used to do a lot of high yield savings account videos to tell people, hey, these are the highs in the nation, and the closer you get to essentially 2%. But now inflation is teetering between 2.8% to 3.1%. So this doesn't even get you close. And that's why I really encourage people to invest. Yes, you should have at least $10,000 in savings. That is my belief, at least 10,000. People will tell you anywhere from 3 to 6 months. I agree with that as well. But at least bare minimum, at least 10,000. But we get into this, we got high rate discover, 0.60. And all of these are supposed to be what? Best savings accounts and rates of November 2020. Not even 1%.
So to answer the question, why would you, or how do you feel? It's your choice. It's your own discretion. But
I'm saying, how much do you save?
I try not to save. I like to live paycheck to paycheck. And yeah, I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I like to live every day as if it's my last. No, I'm joking. I I put away.
Go ahead.
15% into my 457, which is a supplemental retirement fund, and everything else I just use it to operate my day-to-day operations, basically.
How long have you been contributing to your 457?
About 3 years. 3 years.
Okay.
Yeah.
So that's your whole kit and caboodle. That's your whole nest egg. That's your whole.
No. Also, diversity, silver, and I mean the actual tangible silver, not a piece of paper.
Where do you buy your silver from?
I'm not going to discuss that. That's yeah. I apologize.
Why you can't tell us where you buy your silver from?
Off camera. I'm sorry. Because the reason why I'm saying that, listen, the reason why I'm not going to discuss it, because if you follow the market, silver is harder and harder to come by these days.
How so?
Look at the prices. It's slowly creeping up.
Well, that's what I want to do. I have actually tangible silver too. I've even showed a lot of my silver here on my channel.
Yeah, but watch. It's going to be hard to find silver in the future.
So I'm gonna show you where I buy my silver from. Since you're old CIA, FBI, top secret, you know what I'm saying, top flight. Yeah. This is where I buy my silver from right here. Apex. America Precious Metal Exchange. And you got silver, gold, platinum, and palladium. But if you go to silver, you got different pops, other popular series. But the most ones, if I were to go here, I'd show you the ones that I buy the most.
Yeah, let's look.
These are the ones I buy the most. The one with the U.S. silver coins.
Mm-hmm.
There's one with the lady on them. Let me see if I can pop it up right here. It's not showing me. It keeps popping up. But this is the one, the American Silver Eagle. That's the one I usually buy. I buy them in the ounce. In the coin ounce, okay? And I also buy gold from here as well. Now, why do you buy a lot of silver? Do you buy more silver or do you buy more gold?
Right now, just silver.
Now, do you buy them in coins or do you buy them in large quantities? As far as you can buy these in bars. Down here, you can buy these in bars.
Exactly. So the a buddy of mine at work, he put me onto a site where you buy the little, like the micro bars, and also the coins, and That's the way to go. That's the way to go. And like I said, whatever the international markets do, at least you'll have it on you. It'll be tangible to, you could break it down, you could exchange it a lot quicker than mostly gold. You know what I mean? And gold is,
Now,
go
I was
ahead.
going to say that I prefer silver coins because I think about what I can do and exchange it. Now, if I'm carrying a big ass bar with me,
You might be trying to buy a house or something with that, in the future, of course.
and see, here's another thing. I told people about this right here. I bought my silver when it was $17. Where's silver at right now? Silver is at $25, about to hit $26.
Per troy ounce, right?
Huh?
Per troy ounce.
Yes.
Yep.
I like to call him Mansa Musa, but you can call him Troy.
Okay.
Yeah. But it's at 25.88. And I tell people you should go out and buy real silver. Because this is an investment and it's also tangible.
Yep.
See, I like the book by Robert Kiyosaki. He talks about fake this, fake money, fake, fake. Because essentially I go to my portfolio, right? Where is Barrett Gold at? Right here. This is intangible. I'm investing in gold, but this gold is intangible. I'm actually down, by the way. I got $200, but that $200 soaked up in this virtual digital entity that is not actual real gold. The best thing I should probably do is what? Cash out of it. I won't do that. Cash out of it and buy real gold, because real gold right now is at 19,000. 1900.
What am I about to say, brother? That's wow.
No, if it was at 19,000, I would have traded my gold coins and got that money, because that's going to drop.
Yeah,
but when I bought my gold coins, gold was at 1,500.
And that was what, inside of what?
Yes, and what people don't understand about this is about the history of gold and silver, that Africa really made gold and silver very, very popular, and also precious gems. Yeah. But we won't get into that sort of history. That's deep. That's deep. But if you're not investing in gold and silver, then what if the digital market crashes? This is very important. I'm going to tell you why. I preach a lot of diversity on my channel, how you should be diversified and how to hedge your stocks and do all these other things. But here's the thing, if the digital, because everything is digital, if the financial markets actually collapse, because everything is digital. We look at our stocks, it's digital. We look at our bank accounts, it's digital. If someone created some sort of supernatural electronic bug that just crashes the system, and for some reason it, destroyed the backups, you won't know, like, hey man, I had $100,000 in my bank account. Like, well, sir, unfortunately, the whole entire nation is starting over. But when you come out with gold and silver, automatically you have money. Automatically. So that's why I tell people, buy gold and silver. Even though, if I go back here, Keith, platinum and palladium are worth more gold and silver. Did you know that?
Absolutely.
So right now, platinum is worth $911. And we're talking about per ounce. Palladium, look at this. Palladium is worth $2,500 per ounce. Per ounce. That's how much it is. Let me blow this up. Right? And that's been over the, I'm showing a time. Can you see the screen?
Absolutely.
Yeah, so I'm showing the time chart for 6 months out, right? Look at this right here. If we come to October, October 29th, which is about a week ago, palladium dropped down to $22.50. Palladium is now up to 25.35. It went up $250. Let me check out silver again. So let's go back to COVID-19. Let's go back to COVID-19. So I'm gonna end up in May. I told people this: when there's a plutonic plague, a pandemic, a recession, a depression, a national disaster that affects a lot of people, even though people have died, but you're still living, everybody else is taking advantage of the market. In the market, when it comes to commodities like this, I bought my silver at $17. My silver is now worth almost $26. That's a $9 per ounce increase just by holding on to something I'm never going to trade in. I'm going to pass that down. But if I need it, I have it. You know the saying, I'd rather have it than need it and not have it. So why don't you deal with gold at all?
Because because gold is usually what you set the currency with. Like, so for example, okay, so let's say the markets do crash, right? You're not going to be exchanging gold on a day-to-day operation. You're not going to be doing that. You're going to be using your silver to go to the grocery store it's like, I think it was back in the day, it was I think it was either a 2-to-1 or a 4-to-1 ratio. So 1 unit of gold equals 4 units of silver, right?
The gold eagle, the silver eagle.
Well, 1 ounce of gold would exchange, I think it was like 1 ounce of gold would equal 4 ounces of silver.
4-to-1 ratio. 1 piece of gold. Oh, yes.
4 units.
But it's a lot more now. It's a lot more now.
Yeah, but what I'm saying is you wouldn't buy much of anything with your gold. You would use your silver to do the day-to-day operations, food, clothing, shelter type stuff. But if you wanted to like build a city, or you wanted to finance a city, you would use your gold and back it with the paper currency. That's how you used to do it.
Yeah. Say that one more time so we all get that.
Okay, so you would not use your gold in day-to-day operations. If you can, you wouldn't use it. You would use the silver in its place for major purchases, or you would create a system of money like paper money that's backed by the gold. You know what I mean? Because gold is it's the higher standard of the two metals. You don't want to even let people know that you have it, because it, like, in the Wild Wild West, you would get robbed.
Definitely.
But silver is more easily, and you wouldn't have it in high quantities either. You would just have it on just basic day-to-day operations, So, yeah.
But I'm saying, are you saying that it's a good idea to buy? Now, me personally, I know there's a good idea to buy silver, but are you straying away from gold?
No, gold. See, like what you're saying is gold is going to be unreachable if there is ever some type of catastrophic shift, or the markets, don't do as well. But silver is always going to be accessible in that time. You know what I mean?
I agree.
Yeah. So
now I got a viewer here. They said that's why it's better. I guess she was catching up on the information that we put out about houses. They say that, that's why you should go to Africa and buy a house, because there's no tax. This is a different land. And again, I've telling people for a very long time, one of my considerations in my household, we're all really planning. We actually going to really start saving pretty hard here after the new year. And we're going to save up anywhere from 5 to 6 years, and combine our finances to possibly move to Africa. We're actually thinking about it. We're actually going to do a lot of research, but we're going to come up with a savings plan. And the reason why we're coming up with a savings plan versus, investing is because we want to make sure that the money that we save, we have bar none, because in investments, you can lose. A company can just see, and this is the thing, this is the dangerous thing about investing. A company can make an unpopular decision. A company can make a bad decision in the investment world and you lose your money. You don't get it back, right? It's a system where you invest inside of a company and you are banking on them doing well, regardless of their quarterly earnings, their quarterly sales, revenue, innovations, and inventions. They increase products and increase services. You're banking on them growing the business because that's going to grow their profit, which is going to increase their stock price. So with that being said, if they do the opposite and their stock goes down and they lose money, you lose money. But that money that they lost, or for you buying shares of their stock, they soak that money back up. So essentially, they don't really lose. That's why a lot of companies go public. See, when you stay private, you don't have this whole different sector or this whole different nest egg of millions of people to invest inside your company and just waiting for the stock to go up so they can make money off your company. You can actually lose in the stock market as a company and retain all the cash that people invest inside of it. And the majority of companies that do that are usually companies under $5, usually, right? Because we start getting to dollar stocks, penny stocks, but just like NEO. NEO is a Chinese stock I did a lot of research on, and I bought it when it was $3, right? And I usually don't buy stocks under $5, but if you do your research, you know, which takes, when a stock is under $10, I do a lot more research than I would if it isn't. Now, I don't do any stocks that's under $1, because when I really invest in stocks that's under a certain price point, for me, day traders, they win. I almost every time lose. I'm trying to find this one stock. Let me give you a good example, Keith. Let me show you. This company right here, Polymet Mining. How much am I down?
39%.
Exactly, which is $312, right? I have 141 shares. Now, when I look up and I say the future, this is basic. Now, I do more research than this, but I'm just showing people what I do sometimes. Let me go back to it. What's the name of this? Polymelt. The future of Polymet Mining stock. Let me show you what it says. It says the number one analyst offering 12-month price forecast for Polymet Mining Corporation had a median target of $15. Then it says a median target with a high estimate of $15 and a low estimate of $15. Like, that can't be right. That all three estimates are $15, the low, the medium, and the high. What?
Yeah, it's magic. It's not fraud, it's magic.
Then it says the median estimate represents a 368.75% increase from the last price of $320. Where am I at? $344. I bought this stock at, it says your average cost for each share was $5.64. So in order for me to make my money back, to break even, this stock has to raise up to at least $5.64. Now, of course, this one analyst that's coming from moneycnn.com, I mean, I wish it would go up to $15, and I'm making almost $10 per share. But again, you have to have a well-diversified portfolio and not just have digital stocks. And that's why we were talking about gold and silver.
Yeah.
And I know, again, silver is only like, it is really raised up. Again, it's almost $26.
Yeah.
And gold, again, gold is up to almost $2,000 per ounce. So I think when we talk about tangibles, something tangible as far as currency is concerned, your money is paper. That's a real metal. That's a real tangible thing. So that's always going to be worth something. Plus, anything that's rare is worth something. We got to look at it that way too, right? Even though Mansa Musa, he went across the whole entire country just giving away gold. Like, yeah, I got a lot of this. Yeah. He was just tumbling world market. He was like, here you go, some gold. It is giving it to the poor. He like, I had so much gold, I didn't know what to do with it. They said that Mansa Musa was the richest man in the world, that he was literally the first trillionaire, not to be confused with the rapper. Keith, do you have any comments? I know we've been going for a while here. I don't want to hold you too long. Good evening, Clan Killer, and thank you, Nolan Baptiste, for moderating. And I see Lee 7305. Thank you for joining in. I would like all my viewers. I would like to thank Brother Keith for being with me today, giving some good information. So all the viewers, if you guys will give us a thumbs up, thumbs up, thumbs up. If you have any questions or comments, please leave them in the comment section. We will answer those comments for you guys. Have any comments regarding the history of money or any of the avenues or approaches or anything that we went into dialogue about, please let us know. Do you have any anything you want to say, Keith?
Oh man, thanks for having me on. I appreciate you.
Not a problem. And you can follow Keith on no social medias. He ain't on social media at all. This dude be in the books. All right, brother, I love you, and I'll talk to you later. This is Financial Literacy 101. Learn money and be inspired. You guys have a great and wonderful day. I'm out.